Hi.
Hi.
How are you,
Can you hear me
Elaine?
well? I'm good, I'm good.
I hear a little echo.
Ah, you hear a little echo. Okay, because my mom's actually like doing her thing there, so I was a bit concerned that you can't hear me. But if I speak louder, can you hear me?
The audio's fine. I just hear
Okay.
myself. I hear myself twice.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just a
okay.
little echo.
Um, okay, if you're okay with that, then I guess we can proceed.
Do you have your
Actually, on the comment side, if you want to turn it on, it's okay though. Like, I'm okay.
are you sure?
Yeah,
Because look,
this
I
is my
don't
last interview.
because I don't want nobody. Look, I am only here for positivity, only here for support. I don't want any negativity in the comments. She said I can turn it on, y'all. So I'm just letting y'all know if I see one comment that is out of pocket, I'm turning off the comments, even though she said it's okay. I'm just letting y'all know because
Okay.
I'm not here for
Is this
that.
better? Did you turn this
That
off?
is better. The echo's off. Yeah,
All right.
that is better. Yeah. All right, I'm turning on the comments. All right, we back
Well,
on. Oh, wait,
I'm
hold on.
okay. I'm okay because
Okay.
the amount of horrible comments I've seen.
Already, you've gotten immune to it. Is that what you're saying?
I would say is that you can't hide the truth, so it's okay.
Right. Okay, so I just want to, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for joining, the live and agreeing to have a conversation with me. I see that you've done other interviews with men and you haven't really sat and spoke with a woman, which is a different vibe. And shout out to Dr.
It's really
Love, shout out to Mr. Vegas. They did a good job with interviewing you and such. So shout out to them. But I wanted to talk to you, especially as a minority, and being a part of, in some sort of a way, being a part of, dance hall, as far as me interviewing dance hall artists and stuff like that. I just felt that this is such a sensitive, like, this is an important thing to be discussing. We talk about everything else. Why not talk about what's really going on and what's constantly
yep.
swept under the rug? And, people don't want to talk about it and people don't want to expose their favorite entertainer because, oh, I like their song or this, that, and the third. But not today. Not today. We're not. So I did the Tanya Stevens interview
Yep.
about 2 weeks ago, and I can't even believe the amount of women that have come forward in Tanya's DMs and even in some in my DMs, and it's just been incredible. So I'm like, why not continue the conversation? So I just want to say first that I believe you. I 110% believe you, and I'm totally here to support you. And whatever it is that you need to get your story out, whatever it is that you feel like wasn't covered in the last couple of interviews that you did, I would love to talk about it and have you, tell your story again and, clear up whatever it is that you want, to clear up. And then last but not least, before I let you, speak, we will not call his name. We will not say his name. We will not give him any power because he has absolutely no power over you, over anything. So we're not saying his name at all. If you know the story, you already know who she's talking about anyway. So we're not calling his name. So with that being said, I guess you can fill people that don't know what's going on, you can tell them what's going on and why we're even here.
Well, what's going on is I came out a couple of days ago, actually, to point him out as the person who sexually assaulted me during the Australian leg of the tour in November 2019. So we're having this conversation because, there have been a lot of questions asked, there's a lot of he says, she says, but there are some facts that I would like to point out in a sense of timelines that people might get confused.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about the first time I met him, it was actually in 2018.
That was going to be my first question. How did you even how did you even get into dance hall? How did you even link up with him? How did you guys become acquainted?
So, I actually worked with Major One, who is a Singapore Canadian artist and international artist, and I was on her team. So in 2018, what we did was we brought him down and to Singapore to a place to perform. It's a quite high class place. It was in C'est La Vie, which is like in the top of like the Marina Bay Sands. It's a very high class, exquisite place. And Major One was the one who organized it with her company, Singapore Dub Club. So then that's where we were actually first acquainted. So during then, all I did was just help out with the organization. I was working on the documentation. So I was pretty much just on Majors One's team, you know, and just doing my thing. That point of time, my partner Zach was actually working security for the event. So that is actually like how, you know, to clarify timelines. So then everything was okay. Everything was fine. Suddenly, out of nowhere, he just grabbed me and he just kissed me and tried to like force his tongue down my throat. And I was just like, wait a minute, what? You know, and at that point in time, I am very sheltered. I'm very new. I've never met Jamaicans before. So then the first thought that I had was, is this a Jamaican way of greeting? You know, because that was really what I thought. I was just like, I don't know. I've never met Jamaicans before. And I'm Singaporean, let's be honest. I have a sheltered life as compared to a lot of people out there. So, you know, that's when I asked Major, and then she was like, no, it's not. I was like, okay.
What was the setting? When did he try to do this? Where was it that you met him?
He was in a public setting in the place, C'est La Vie, which is the place that he performed at. And then it was in the green room area where everybody was just chilling. He was drinking. And then that's when out of nowhere he just grabbed me. And I was just like, whoa, like what was happening, you know? And after that, you know, I asked Major and she was like, no, it's not a Jamaican greeting. I was like, oh, okay. And then they told him off. She told his manager at a point of time, who was Japanese. And he apologized. And then he also apologized. The person who did that to me apologized. And they said, we're not going to do it again. And I was like, okay. We left it as that because apologies given. You understand your mistake. You shouldn't have done this. You cannot do this. And, you know, if you're such a professional, this shouldn't even have been done in the first place. You know, why would you grab someone out of nowhere and kiss them?
And who was witness to this?
The people around, who were in the green room, including my partner. My partner was there. And he had to be held back by 3 people because he really wanted to punch him when he saw what happened. But, you know, he is a guest. So we were like taught to really respect your guests in Asia. So we're like, okay, you know what? Let's drop this one. Since he has apologized, we're good. All right, that was in 2018. So then in February 2019, I did another trip with Major to Jamaica because that point of time, they had a collaboration going on, which was actually going to bring Jamaican music into Asia.
Okay.
So that was when we went to Jamaica. You know, I went to Jamaica. I met the people. We were hosted at his house, and everything was fine. Everything was fine. And as the days passed, you know, he started calling Major his little sister. His sister, you know, oh, this is my sister. And he called me his little niece. So then, you know, when it came to that, it was like, okay, you called me niece, I'll call you uncle. You know, like it pretty much, we trusted him, and it feels like we're a family. You know, we're doing something together. We're doing something great. We're bringing Jamaican culture into.
He made you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially and after the first violation with the kiss. I have a question real quick before you even continue.
Yeah.
Do you think with the kiss part, I didn't want to like stray too far past that because I have questions about that. Do you think that you were, because clearly it made you uncomfortable, it pissed your partner off, like people saw it, he went out of his way to apologize and such. Do you think that you were afraid to sever ties from that first offense that he did?
Sever ties as in, what do you
like,
mean?
Okay, you violated me, you overstepped your boundaries, I can't work with you anymore. Were you afraid to like walk away?
I actually didn't think about walking away because to me it's like he apologized and I wasn't gonna see him again at that point of time, you know? Like it was
Mm-hmm.
2018, so I didn't think what was gonna happen after.
Okay.
Um so, but at the same time I wasn't there working for him. I was always with Major One. And only when Major One was involved
Got it.
was when I was there.
Okay.
And yeah, let me clarify on like the Jamaican music collaboration. It was to Southeast Asia, so we're talking Singapore, we're talking Malaysia, we're talking Indonesia, the places of tour that we went to. So in Jamaica, when he started calling her the sister and called me the niece, I was like, okay, everything's fine. The last day of when we were going to leave, he tried kissing me when Major was asleep. And I told her after, and I was just like, I don't know what is happening. Why is he constantly trying to kiss me and trying to have attempts on me?
Mhm. And what
But
was the setting
most times
here? What was the setting here when he
his
tried it the
house.
second time? Okay. So you were at his house. Okay.
And I pushed him away. No, same thing. Pushed, no. And he respected that. So I had the impression, okay, if I draw my boundaries with you and I said no, you're gonna respect it.
Right.
Because I believe no is a very clear
It is.
verbal indication. It's a no, right?
Yes.
So that was fine. So
So
that
you
was
so you told
February 2019.
February 2019, and you say you told Major.
Yeah.
And what was the reaction from Major?
Well, at that point of time, she was. We didn't really pursue it further because we were already leaving Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. And he housed us at his guest house, like me and Major at his guest house, because they were doing collaborations. They were recording in the studio, and I was just down there. I was making sure like administration is done. I'm making sure like documentation is done, video editing is done. That was my task there. So I was very
Mm-hmm.
much only involved when Major is involved. I
Okay.
was never anywhere else near him, other than the fact that when they are working together.
Okay. And he's never done it. He never made any advances at her.
No, from what I know, no.
Okay. Okay.
He probably tried like flirting or something like the very expressive styles, but she knows
Okay.
how to deal with it. I'm just someone who's really sheltered, and I'm really new to such situations.
Mm-hmm.
So then, bringing to October 2019 was when the song that they did together, which was called Jamaican Flavor. So they announced the Jamaican Flavor tour. So Jamaican Flavor Tour, they had New York, they had Singapore, they had Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia,
Mm-hmm.
Japan. These were all the places that they already booked to go. So I then followed them to New York. I met them back in Singapore. Nothing happened then. Malaysia, nothing happened then. I was just dealing with organizing and trying to run like the with the team and just making sure okay he's ready for his sound check. He knows what he needs for his songs. He knows what time the rehearsal is. All those stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Australia is where it wasn't organized by Major because she was a guest artist there. So then
Okay.
my role stepped back and I became more of just documenting what was going on. And it was a beautiful collaboration. Jamaican music into Southeast Asia, and Indonesia has such a good pool of people who loves reggae. So it was a beautiful collaboration. I was just documenting all of that. So, that's why no one anticipated what would have happened. No one anticipated. Up to the day before the incident, everybody was laughing. We're just, having fun. We're having
Mm-hmm.
fun on the tour. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something that, if people go on Facebook and you can see, we were all having fun.
Right.
So no one really anticipated what happened, and it's a really unfortunate situation because can you imagine how beautiful that collaboration will be when you actually bring Jamaican music into Southeast Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually, and Asia is very good at making it represent well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was very happy to hear that prospect, and that was
Right.
what I was just working on.
Right.
So when all those things happen, I'm not gonna go into the details of what happened because I will not repeat myself again
That's okay.
on
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Because it's a
but
lot.
that's
It's a lot.
it's a lot. But know that even though that there are things, say the hug that I consented to, and a lot of people might be asking like, oh, why after he do this to you, why after he do that to you, you still go with him? Know this, I didn't go with him. I went with Major. I
Right.
was with her every time it happened. We were here every time. If she needs to go to an event, I'm there. If she needs to go to a show, I'm there. I am just by her side, shooting her every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was. That was my capacity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's not that I chose to be with him. It just so happens that they were collaborating together, and I was helping Major.
Mm. So what? Because you've come out with this story before, and you did not say his name, and then you came out
Yep.
later and you said his name. I would like to
Yep.
talk about what life was like when you came out and you told your story, but you didn't say his name, versus you coming out and exposing who it actually was. Did people go ahead?
Okay, I would say that when I didn't say his name, I definitely had support. Like everybody's just, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I stand with you. So it was more of a general, I stand with the survivor. I stand in solidarity with you kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. But the moment I came up with his name, and I totally understand why a lot of people do not come out,
That's what I want to
I
talk
am
about.
having literal hate comments. I am having victim blamings coming to my DMs, you know? And people do it in the guise of like, oh, why you didn't run? You're an ex-soldier. You're this, you're that. Why didn't you react? Well, let me explain this. When you are under stress, right? The stress hormones actually flood into your prefrontal cortex, which I'm sure everybody knows is where you actually make your decisions. You actually think logically. But when you're in a state of stress, you're in a state of panic, you don't know, you perceive that threat, your brain perceives that threat. You are not capable of logical thinking.
At all.
Okay, that is something that everybody has to know, and I'm sure all the survivors would agree. I even went to look at the statistics, and we're talking about like 50% of the survivors. One study said 50% of the survivors actually freeze. Other studies actually say 88% of sexual assault victims and survivors, they actually freeze, because your brain perceives the threat, it gets overflooded by the stress hormones, and you can't think anymore. And it happened to me because I disassociated.
Yeah.
I felt disassociated after the incident. It was just like, you're there, but everybody else sounds so far away.
Right.
So that remains a fact, that the freeze response is very, very common.
Right.
So you can't be asking survivors, oh, you are a soldier, you know how to fight, why didn't you do this, why did you do that? There is
Right.
no logical explanation to it.
Right.
But the point is, there is no consent. That is very clear. I expressively said no.
Right.
So if you want to ask me why I hugged him, I trusted him, okay? We built a relationship of family, like a family unit. Everybody was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I trusted him that he wasn't going to cross a line.
Right.
Not just me trusting him, Misha trusted him that it was safe.
Right. Right.
So when we were housed in that Airbnb, and it's not my choice, it was the promoters. Yeah.
Wait, hold on, because I know. Wait, because I know you said you didn't want to tell the details. I know that, right? So I don't want,
Right.
because now it might get a little confusing. So let's stay on this one question and then we'll get to that. I don't want to skip anything
All
or
right.
anything like that. But I do want
Okay.
you to answer the question first about, not having said his name first. You said it was a general support that you got from people, versus
Yep.
now that you have exposed who it is, that all the hate comments are like, do you regret saying his name?
No, I
Good.
do not. I do not regret it, because this is my way to tell the survivors this is how we can take back our power. This is an act of taking away power because he probably himself doesn't have power deep inside, and he
Exactly.
needs to find and take that power from someone else just so that he has that power, but it's temporary. This is not a solution for him. He needs to go look into himself and ask, where is my power? Where is my true power? And it's
Right.
very unfortunate that he chooses to prey on victims. And at the point of time, I was seen as a very easy target because I was quiet. I really
Right.
don't say much.
Right.
I am very, meek. I
Right.
don't I don't do anything. I'm very sheltered. So it was
Right.
very easy target, let's be honest.
Right. Right.
And that is a very unfortunate part that you choose on to prey on weak targets. But the only thing that he did wrong was to assume that I was going to keep quiet about it.
Right. So when the rape first happened, you said it happened in November 12th or something like that, 2019.
November 12th, 2019, 6 days
Right.
after my birthday.
How soon after the rape happened did you go to the police?
Immediately.
Immediately. I'm
So
so glad that you
so
did
it
that.
happened it happened around 12 to 1 a.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
Major came back about 3 4, and then we went to sleep at like 5. I had to sleep, and I woke up, showered. I showered because I never felt so dirty before. And I was
Mm.
also scared because I don't know his history, and he, did it to me like that. So without a condom, it was like I am really afraid for my life, and I'm very afraid as well of getting like things I shouldn't be.
Right.
So of course I went to get a check. I went to get my rape kit done,
That's what I
and
wanted to talk
once
about
major
next. Mm-hmm.
found out, that was about 3 p.m. because
Mm-hmm.
that's when he left for the to get his Japan visa, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when she sat down with me and she's like, "So what happened?" I and then I didn't really want to say anything. I said, I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to tell you. So she went up the scale. Did he try to kiss you? Did he try to hug you? Did he try to, put his dick in you? And that's when I just teared. I was just like, I don't know how to tell you because this was not something that I anticipated he would go. I anticipated him to try and flirt around, to try and kiss, but never to the point of violation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never to the point of violation. And that, but I still decided, okay, you know what? Let's go get everything checked. At that point of time, I haven't decided whether I wanted to push charges, but I know to get a rape kit done, I was told that I need to press charges. So it took me like 1 hour to decide, okay, all right, let's press charges.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when, I pressed charges, went to the police. We did the police report about, police arrived about 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at the clinic doing my rape kit at the same time.
So
So it was all done that day.
major, it's Masia, or is it pronounced major?
Major,
Major. Okay, M with
major one.
Asia. Duh.
Yeah.
Major, she's actually in the comments. Hi, thank you for commenting. Maybe we can bring her on in a little bit, and we can all have a discussion if she's up for it. But I want to talk about the rape kit because
Yep.
the Gleaner put out a story about the
Yes.
rape kit inconclusive evidence. So what was the whole point? So you did a rape kit, and what happened? Like what's going on with that?
So I did a rape kit, but they never looked at it. Okay? So, okay, let's put that fact aside that they never looked at it. Let's look at why they actually didn't look at it. Because he had told the police and he confessed that there was intercourse.
So they
So he
didn't bother looking.
confessed that there was intercourse, and he said it was consensual. So the police went, oh, okay, since we know who it is, his DNA is probably going to be on there. Let's not look at it.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
why it wasn't looked at. And if anybody wants to tell me that Australia has very tight rape laws, I ask you to look into the case of this Australian woman called Brittany Higgins. because she is still seeking her justice. And out of all the reported case, maybe like, okay, let me go through some statistics here. So out of 140,000 reported cases, police would find 12,000. So that's about 8.5% unfounded, meaning they don't believe that it happened. This is not my case. They do believe me. And I was told that they believe me, so this is not the problem. 25%, which is 34,000 cleared, which is where I fell into that 25%, because I didn't get no legal pursuit after that. And Australia, unfortunately, has a lot of backward laws that it's very easy for people to get away with. Because to actually get a charge, you need 3 points. All right? 1, that was intercourse. He already admitted to that, no problem. That was in Australia, right? So it was so first point, intercourse. The Australian police already proved that, because he confessed to the police that was intercourse. Second, which is whether they believe me, I did not consent. They believe me, so that was not a problem. Here comes the third problem. He, beyond a reasonable doubt, I repeat that again, he, beyond a reasonable doubt, knows that I did not consent. They have problem proving that. And they told me it's not to just prove to them. I have to prove to a jury of 12 people, because Australia works in jury systems, right? So 12 people that this person can choose. And it will probably be made up of middle-aged men. Tell me, where is the fairness in this whole thing? And this is a huge problem.
It's like it's already against you. They already, this is already, once he admitted that, okay, yes, we had sexual intercourse, it already went down a drain. And I found it very interesting that when he put out his video defending himself, he never mentioned that he actually had intercourse with you. I feel like these are all the pieces of evidences that needs to be, drew up so that everybody has a better, like, people believe you more, because clearly people need evidence, And then I also wanted to bring up the fact of the phone call that was recorded by the police, where he actually said to you, tell the people what he said to you on the phone call.
He actually said that I wasn't proud of it, but I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't consensual. That's when I screamed at him. I said, it wasn't consensual. What the hell are you talking about? And I was just like, I was pissed. I was beyond pissed. Like, you took that from me. You put me through all these things. And here you are saying it's consensual? Are you fucking for real? I'm sorry, pardon my language.
No,
but
you're fine. Do you have access to that phone call? Because I feel like you probably need a good lawyer. Because I feel like that phone call is half an admission of guilt. It's like a half admission. I would not have done it if. Wow. And what did the police say about that?
The police actually used it in its corroborating evidence, and I told the police, I was like, do you guys not realize that he knew he was being recorded? Because after that, what he told me on the phone was, why is it so echoey? Is someone listening to it? And I was trying to get him to talk, like they wanted me to get him to talk. And afterwards, it was like, you know what, we're not gonna talk more. We talk more when you come back. I cook ackee and saltfish. That's what he told me, and I was just like, that's when I knew, like, he knew. He already knows that I'm at the police station and that I am already, making my report, and I'm calling him because the police wants it. He was ready for it. And it's very scary because it shows that he knew what was coming. He probably has planned this.
Yeah. You know what? You know why I think that it was definite. It was allegedly planned. Let me use the word alleged, even though we're not calling no names. Let me use the word alleged.
Yep.
The red flag to me when we spoke prior to this interview, the red flag for me was the promoter putting you in the same Airbnb with him. There's no way that you as a woman, you and Masia as two women to be in the same Airbnb as a man. No, that is so inappropriate and unacceptable. And I'm pretty sure he okayed it. It seems like he would have okayed, you know what I mean? Like any man, especially being an entertainer, and you know how crazy things can get. Like, why would you put yourself in the same house? That is bizarre to me. That is so bizarre to me.
I don't know as well, but you know, it was not my choice. I didn't choose to do that, you know. And I was just doing
Never.
my work in the living room.
Right.
Living room, it's a common space.
Right.
And he attacked me in the living room. So I didn't go into no room with him, nor is there cameras, okay? There is no cameras in the house. No Airbnb in the right mind would install a camera, nor is it legal
Right. Right. So
to
what was
say
he in
that
it?
he is.
He said that on his video too. There was cameras all around. What was he referring to?
I believe he's referring to the fact that he took a statement and there were cameras around in the police station. So, you know, he
Oh, in the
left out
police
point,
station.
added points. Yeah. The police station has cameras, I'm sure. The Airbnb has no cameras. Zero cameras. There is no video evidence that exonerated him. None. But this, you know, Australia does not have a good conviction for sexual assault cases, and this is a problem that they are dealing with right now. More and more people are coming out. Brittany Higgins, who is also happened in 2019, a few months before me, and I was surprised to find out she is still seeking her justice, and she had to go to the media. And she is Australian. She is a citizen of the country. So how would that look for me? I'm a foreigner. He's a foreigner. Does Australia really have an obligation for us, towards us?
Mm.
We'll be wasting their resources. They will rather take that resource and put it to their citizens, right?
Right. Right.
So the case is tough because laws is against you. You can't change that. The way that they dealt with it, you can't change that. I've constantly tried to push,
Yeah.
and you know, like, can I get this? Can I get that? No. It's really, really, really tough. So, you know, for people who says that they have strict rape laws, it is not true, and you can do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany Higgins is a very, very good point. It is not true.
Right.
And many people get away with it. And that is, you know, a horrible problem that they're dealing with. In fact, I spoke to one survivor who told me that right now the statistic is that one woman every day in Australia is being killed or raped. One woman every day. That is a horrifying statistics. And when I looked into it, in when I was gathering the statistics for the report, the
Mm-hmm.
police is not forthcoming with the reason why they dropped the case. They are not. So, you know, that
So
is a whole problem that that country is dealing with.
so what
And
the
I found into the statistics.
so what does that mean for you? Absolutely
What does that
nothing,
mean for
right?
me? I would say it
Where does
means
where does
that if
that
I
leave
want to
you?
seek justice and hold him criminally accountable, it is going to be tough because they would
Mm-hmm.
want to close the case. And you have heard, you know, they have already closed the case, even though I'm still pushing for it. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't sent me a proper letter to say this is why, this is that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're closing the case. I'm not surprised. I've been fighting for it for a very, very long time. And a lot of people wonder why I come out now. This whole investigation since November 2019 first concluded in January this year when they said insufficient evidence. And then I said, what? I pushed for it. I asked them to do an external review. So, push for the review.
Go ahead.
And they only told me in September 19 that no, we can't push forward with this. So, why do I come out now? Because the police has closed the case. They're not going to push forward with it.
Got you.
But the truth about this person and the scary part that he is still out there,
right.
and I do not want to see him hurt anyone else,
right.
is there. And Asian shame is real.
Yeah.
It is honestly real. It is not as easy.
That was actually going to be my next question. Like, how has this whole situation affected all of your relationships? Not just with your partner, but with your mom and with your dad and with, friends and, even with Masia. Like, how has this changed your relationships?
Well, this whole incident, I'm no longer working in the capacity of Masia like I used to since the incident. That is one huge effect. It's one huge effect. When I went out and I spoke about it, and I didn't name names at the point of time, I had my family saying, here we are trying to hide the truth, and here you are trying to tell everybody.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So imagine the backlash now that I'm coming out and speaking, putting my face and a name to it.
How does that make you feel?
I would say that I had hoped that they understand, but if they don't, then this is where they are at the point of time, and if they are not gonna accept it, then I'm not gonna force them to accept it. Because I'll just be pushing against the tide.
I gotta be honest. It feels to me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it just feels like you're alone on this journey, and it feels like you don't have as much support as you should have. Like, that's what it feels like. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
And yes, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Good.
Because it's
Thank
not
God.
that I don't have support. It is not that I don't have support. I do not have support from my family. I know. But that is okay. Because I have my own family that I chose. My partner. Masia has been supporting me. I have other friends who's writing in. I have other survivors coming in and say, I believe you. Keep fighting. These are all my soul family, so as to speak. These are the people who went through similar experiences, and they can connect on that level.
Right.
It is unfortunate that, a lot of people would say that those who feels it knows it, but I don't want people to even feel it. This is not something anybody should feel.
For sure.
I was out of commission for 1.5 years, contemplating whether or not to kill myself. It is not an easy thing to go through. It was a lot of healing. When I think everything is over, it's going to come back again. When I think that, okay, I've worked on this issue, another issue comes back. It was a lot of looking deep into myself and addressing like, okay, this is the hurt, this is the trauma. Now, how do I release this? How do I work on this? It's a lot of really asking myself that tough question, being willing to point that pain and address that pain that's inside to say, okay, all right, let's address this. Let's address this. Okay, I hear you, buddy. Okay, let's do this. Let's try and recover from this. It's a lot of work. So I can understand why survivors don't want to come out. Look at the amount of backlash of people calling me bitch. You're lying, bitch. I have very horrible comments. So I'm coming out not just, to point out the fact that this person is still free, because this is a concern. And I do not want him hurting anyone else. But also to share with you, this is how survivors go through. This is how survivors feel. I understand why they don't want to talk, why they don't want to come out. I totally understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, it's like, don't victim blame, don't victim shame. Like I said, you do not know. If you are caught in that situation, are you sure you're gonna react the same way that you said that you people should react?
Mm,
No one should get caught in that situation, but are you sure that this will be how you react? Because when
mm,
fear hits you, you are reacting. How your body chooses whether it wants to fight, whether it wants to run, whether it wants to freeze, this is not up to you.
right.
This is not your choice. And to any of the survivors watching this, I want to say it is not your fault.
Exactly.
People will try to say that, oh, why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? You shouldn't have been placed in that situation in the first place, period.
Exactly. Exactly.
I should have the liberty to feel safe when I was just sitting in the living room doing my work. Why should this even happen to me?
Right. Right. I don't care what you had on. You could have been butt naked. He should not do any. Oh God. I just
I
yo.
know, I know it's a non-issue, but I was not wearing anything that is sexy. Okay, baggy t-shirts and 2 layers of pants. That's not anything sexy. I'm sure.
Even if you did, even if you wanted to kiss him, or once you say no, once you
It's a
say
no.
no, that's it.
It's a no. Exactly. And when I said no, it was ignored. I said no a lot of times. I said no. Stop. You're hurting me. These are all very clear signs. I said no. And the police have no problem believing me
Right, right,
because I kept to my story and I was consistent because this is the truth.
right. You know,
This is the truth.
I don't know if you know that, maybe you do know, that Sunday, October 10th, is Mental Health Day.
Oh,
So
no, I didn't.
it is. And this is a great segue into this part, but I wanted to know, what are you doing today, present day, to preserve your mental health and to make sure that Elaine is okay?
Well, I check in with myself. First of all, I check in every day with myself. I, I, as a psychology student, because I went back into psychology to understand what has happened to me, and that was, a lot of things there's a lot of questions that survivors have. The moment it happens to you, you struggle to find out why did it happen to me? What is going on with me? How am I suddenly losing control?
Right.
So I'm learning on that aspect at the same time gaining knowledge, but also checking in with my body and how I feel. So if I feel overwhelmed, I'm taking time out. I'm not replying anybody. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just doing my thing. Maybe just listening to music, chilling out, just doing my thing.
Right.
And I am constantly every day checking in on myself, meditating, checking, okay, how do I feel today? Checking in on my body. Do I feel pain? Do I feel something? Is there something that I need to release? And I work on it.
Yeah. Have you been seeing a therapist?
Oh yeah, I have for a long while.
Hmm.
Um, but right now I am more into an alternative method of working because it has proven much more efficient for me.
And what's that?
Like I said, meditating and
Oh,
really
oh, okay.
checking on myself. Checking
Gotcha.
on myself, addressing myself, and really looking into that hurt and pain and releasing that energy that has caused from the trauma. I'm working on that
Yeah.
because it has proven effective for me. Because when
Yeah.
I was still at therapy, and this is one thing that I also want to share, it is never a one size fit all.
Right.
Different people have different ways of healing.
Right.
Some people maybe they need to like punch something. Some people maybe they need to address what has happened to them. Some people need to talk to somebody, and I do have people to talk to. So I have always a talk therapy, but it doesn't
Right.
change the fact that I still had trauma to address. I still had a
Right.
lot of the moment it happened to you, the energy gets trapped in your body. You got to learn to release that.
Mm. Oh.
So I'm addressing healing on whatever levels that I can find. So
Mm.
people have to understand it's never a one size fit all. And if you're a survivor and you choose to heal this way, as long as you check in with yourself and you're not lying to yourself to say, okay, I'm okay, and you're actually true and honest to yourself that you can address and say, okay, these are the things that I need to address, then you're going to be healing. You will be
Mm-hmm.
healing one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to bring Masia on. Is she down to come on so we can have a group chat? Masia, are you
You can
down to come
ask.
on? Are you down to come
You
on?
can
Let me
ask.
know. Let us know and let me know in the comments and I'll add you in. This is crazy. Like this whole situation is so disheartening, especially to know that it's somebody that you've been well, I don't idolize any celebrity. Maybe Mary J. Blige, but nobody else. But I don't idolize any celebrity, but it's really crazy to know the scary things that go on, especially in entertainment, especially when you trust somebody and you're around them all the time. Like this is not this none of this should happen. These things should not
Yeah,
be
yeah,
happening at all.
yeah.
And also again the victim blaming. Oh, why are you coming out with this story now? I don't give two rat tail combs if this shit happened 25 years ago. It doesn't matter. You have a right to tell your story whenever you so please. Whenever you want to tell the
Mm,
story, whenever you're comfortable, whenever you're mentally ready to come out and tell the
yeah,
story. You tell the story.
yeah.
And if there's any
And,
victim
and,
on
and,
here
and it's,
too, or anybody that's watching this later on, if you feel afraid, no, no, no. Tell the story, even if it's old or whatever, it's still relevant because you're
it
important
is not your fault. It is never your
and it's
fault.
not your
And you know, when
fault.
you address what has happened to you, not only you begin to address your own healing, but you begin to address your own recovery and you start to say, I'm taking back my power. You took that power from me. You shouldn't have, but now I'm taking back that power. I'm telling you no. No. I said no before. You ignored it. It's okay. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to say, no, you're not taking my power. I'm taking that power back from you. And people will see that shell that you really are.
Right.
And I want to address like some of the points where, talking about removing from the tour. Like, please tell me, how can I be removed from the tour if I wasn't billed on the tour, nor was I paid by him?
Oh, that was something I didn't hear that rumor. I didn't hear that thing from, comments. I didn't see that. I didn't
So
hear
this
that.
actually came from his own post on the 19th November 2019, where he says he posted statements by his lawyer. But get this, the ones who can be removed from the tour is actually Masia. But she removed herself from the tour because if you look at timelines, right? She
Mm-hmm.
posted that statement that she's withdrawing from the tour
Mm-hmm.
because an sexual assault has happened. She cannot share details, but a charge has been pressed. 15th November. During that, we didn't call his name. My own statement didn't say anything about him as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
19th November, he came out with that post. The people are trying to smear my name, da 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 da. And I was just like, okay, nice. Here I am dealing with all these things. Not just you traumatize me, you traumatize Masia because she also trusted you.
Right.
None of us believed that you would do something like that. And then 19, you come out and defend yourself when we didn't say anything about you. We
Right.
didn't point to anything, and he just came out. And is that really a statement by his lawyer? I don't know. Maybe he knows. So, if people want to look at truth, they want to find the truth, then look at the amount of lies. Look around the lies and look at the fact.
Right.
He
Promoting
had
more.
all the chance to tell people
Mm-hmm.
that we had intercourse. That's what you told the police, right?
Right. Right.
Were you avoiding to that?
Right. And then the bullshit about, oh, you cheated on your man and you're trying to save your relationship. Like, wow. The things that people come up with to defend is unreal.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I am still a grown woman, even though I'm sheltered, but I know what is consensual and what is a violation. And if it indeed was consensual, I will not be dealing with the amount of trauma that I did, not being able to eat, not being able to sleep, crying myself in the toilet for 2, 3 hours on end. not being able to work with Malaysia in the capacity that I was.
Mm-hmm.
And she can verify that, and she has verified that. Like, really? This is an act of consent?
Right.
I had to go through all these things. You're telling me it's an act of consent.
Right.
And people have seen me. You know, people have seen me when I couldn't eat. I didn't want to do anything. I just curl up in a ball and just cry. Who is willing to accept that this happened to you?
Mm. Do you see a pattern in the type of people that try to defend him and the ones that are saying the dumb shit in the comments? Do you see a pattern if it's more women or if it's more men or if it's equal? Because I wonder that. I'm like, how could a woman say this, or how could a man not, like, I wonder that. I wonder about that.
I
Or is
would
that not
say
something you
that
pay attention to?
they are not, what I pay attention to is another different thing actually, which was the people who support me, they would usually post one comment, but the people who support him would post at least 5 comments on my video. And then they will question the other people who is actually like supporting me and
Mm-hmm.
seeding doubt. I'm just like, I don't know what is going on there, but I can see that something is going wrong here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is not a regular comment thing. Like, why are you posting, like, in a whole entire video, you can have 38 comments on my video? Something is strange here. Something is very strange. I don't know what, but it's okay because, you know, I speak the truth and I'm guided by the truth. You know, so he can try to hide whatever it is, but the facts are facts and you can't run away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I do have males reaching out to me and saying that, you know, I believe you, keep fighting. So
I
I do
always
have
wonder
very
that.
nice
Yeah. Okay.
support. No, I do have guys coming out, yes. And
Mm.
in fact, you know, you can't say that there's a gender difference here because I
Mm-hmm.
believe that everybody's starting to really know about the problem and understand the problem that survivors face, which is a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing because it shows that there is a possibility for change.
Right. 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 Right.